Workout started. Steady 12 kilometers at 7 minutes 15 seconds per kilometer. Go. Auto pause. Workout resume. GPS on.
So I'll turn the auto pause off and make sure that I'm still ticking away. Yep, 11 seconds, 12 seconds. Yesterday I managed to screw up on my what's it called, my tracking app, and didn't have any official record in my run. Not that it makes any difference whether it's official or not. Today is the day for my long run. Norma is going to do 5 and I'm going to do 12. So I'm doing 6 out and 6 back. Today also is our last day in Beja. That's the name, Beja. They pronounce the J much softer than the Spaniards. In Spanish it would be Beja, and in Portuguese it's Beja. It's a little nippy, but very soon I will warm up. I have a bit of a stiff back today. I have set a 7:15 pace to maintain. Even though the cars had a green light, they were waiting for me to cross. Very respectful people, the Portuguese. What we're doing nowadays here on our trip, our 2018 trip to Portugal, is we're moving town every 3 days, 3 or 4 days.
24 seconds behind.
And the first day we arrive either in the morning or the afternoon, and then find our Airbnb, or in this case a hotel room, and go for an evening walk to check out the neighborhood. That's day 1 dealt with. That normally is about an hour of walking, and basically we're casing a place where Norma and I can jog on day 2. This we will do together, and then once we have a better idea after a couple of afternoon walks of the lay of the land and our first day jog, I do my long run on day 3, and then off we go to the next place, which will happen today around 12:30 from the bus station here. We're heading for Evora. Or Evora. We still have to figure out how they pronounce that place. That way we get the right pronunciation so that we know when we're talking to people or asking for directions where we're coming from, where we're going to. Just coming up to the 1 kilometer. I'm never sure what I've set the girl up. I know she's telling me every 3 minutes whether I'm ahead or behind the pace and by how much. And I'm hoping that she tells me that I'm ahead pretty soon. Just coming to the beginning of the cycle path.
16 seconds behind.
16 behind. I'm hoping that I've gauged the podcaster's pace correctly for today. It's pretty flat, the run. And I shouldn't have too many street crossings to do. Pretty soon I'll be on the flat of the cycle path. Hopefully by then my backache will be history. It's a nice, slightly overcast morning. A good day to travel and a good day to run. Okay, here's the first crosswalk. Hello, Becky. The dogs are a little startled by my bandana.
7 minutes 29 seconds per kilometer.
7:29 at the 1 kilometer mark. So now I have all my parameters figured out. 3-minute updates, kilometer reminders, and I think it's a 20-minute hydration reminder, which I will have to ignore because I don't have any water with me. If Norma gauges her timing correctly, we could easily meet on the way back. But by then I'll probably have stopped recording. Yesterday I recorded one submission for the Extra Mile podcast. The one that Kevin was asking for stories from the turkey trots.
4 seconds behind.
Which are going to happen on Monday, I guess. As I cross the street one more time. Now, believe it or not, I'm going to be running past a McDonald's. Yes, indeed. The Golden Arches. So, back to our itinerary we have half a day here and then off to the Rodovario bus terminal to catch a bus to Bora. Those buses are pretty cool. They have Wi-Fi, they have onboard entertainment, very good Wi-Fi. In fact, I could even post my show, this show, from the bus. But I think I'll have more than enough time when I get back to do that. This is going to be a real-time, full-length, 36-minute episode of The Running Jackal. Now all I have to do is do the run and figure out the title. 1 kilometer done. I've got now pretty much uninterrupted cycle path for the next 5 kilometers. So about half an hour or so in this direction. We saw the man ahead of us, or ahead of me, today on his bicycle. Yesterday. The cycle path is a little close to the highway. It shouldn't be too noisy. He was cycling next to his partner and her dog. Hello, doggy. Yeah, the dog's racing me now. Yesterday, the man got off his bike and got onto one of these. Oh, he's going to do it again. Bon dia. These exercise stations along the cycle path where they have stair steppers and ellipticals, purely mechanical, a little rusty but functional for these guys to do their exercises. I didn't bring my heart rate monitor with me because that would be one extra cable, one extra charger, one extra device that I didn't need in my luggage. The leg from England to Portugal is by EasyJet. And EasyJet only allows one item of luggage. So it limits the amount of stuff we can bring to Europe. I could have left stuff in England, but there wouldn't be much point bringing it if I was going to leave it behind.
Workout average pace 6 minutes 54 seconds per kilometer.
6:54, so I can afford to slow down a little bit. If we round that up to 7 and call it 2, that's 14 minutes of recording so far. So the street signs here ahead of me says Évora and Lisbon straight ahead, and Beja to the right, as I pass 3 people, 3 women walking. as two men run towards me. Bon dia. I look very much like the Portuguese people that I see.
56 seconds of all.
Short and swarthy with a beard would be the way you can describe most men here. As for the women, they vary from gorgeous to jolly. Like most Latin countries, the women, when they get married, they start producing babies. So I should slow down a little bit more. Otherwise the run will be over way too soon. And I will be overtired way too soon. The cyclist guy has passed me and he's cycling back now towards his partner. I thought he was going to get off and do the elliptical, but he just cycled ahead. He might well cycle back and then do his elliptical until she catches up with him. I've been listening to some good audio from the BBC and from NPR and from, what's the name of that outfit? Radiotopia. They have quite a few good podcasts, but on the edgy side, not mainstream podcast news, but more human interest stories. Things like 99% Invisible. I had a very interesting one yesterday about orphan drugs. And that means a drug that was developed, let's say for Parkinson's, that wasn't terribly effective in the clinical trials, but had an added side effect for being quite effective for Tourette's syndrome. But the drug companies, in their ultimate stupidity, decided to drop the drug because there was not a big enough market for Tourette's, and the fact that it was developed for Parkinsonism meant that it was basically a failed test drug. That's why they call them orphan drug. But I believe that an act was passed in the American judiciary funding and subsidizing the promotion of these drugs with a monopoly for the companies or the company that was marketing them until their true value had been used. It sounds like a pretty proactive judiciary. Plus, the subsidies meant that those companies could easily market their product without having to worry too much about
Distance 3 kilometers.
the
Workout
bottom
average
line.
pace 6 minutes 36 seconds per kilometer.
6:46. Slow down a bit more.
Time for hydration.
20 minutes done. So I have you with me for another 16 minutes, which at this pace will be 2.5k. Yep, that makes sense in my little brain. Apart from this cycle path being a little too close to the highway, there is a median, a barrier of bushes. But this is the main connector from the interior to Lisbon. So there's a fair number of trucks. So I just heard her say something, and I'm trying to figure out 21. So 3 kilometers and a bit. So I'm a quarter of the way done on this run. The last kilometer is uphill back to our town of Beja. We're surrounded by a flat plain, and that's why the town is on the hill, so it could keep an eye out for marauding Moors. Because here, being so close to North Africa, their main invading forces would have been the Moors from Morocco. As I run past the botanical gardens. I saw that on the map yesterday as I was scoping out the additional distance of this run. Because we didn't do the full 6 yesterday. We came out to about 4 and headed back. We did a little bit of detouring. We went a little too far on our outward leg before turning at McDonald's, where we should have done. We carried on to where I took the picture of the artillery gun, and then headed back. By then, Norma and I were having a bit of a marital dispute. Somewhat along the lines of, I told you so. So I'm still ahead. I heard that. Now I'm doing my 7 times table to figure out when to press stop on my recorder. 1 7 is 7. 2 7s are 14. 3 7s are 21. 4 7s are 28. 5 7s are 35. So on the next reminder, I will wind it down a little bit. And then bid you adieu. Oh, there is an airbase up ahead. I see that from the sign. Vidiuada Base Area Airport. Probably a military airport. I'm going to pause in a second and check my recorder for the timing. So I have another 10 minutes to go. I just heard the 4. The 4 kilometer mark has been passed. Then I'll hear the 5 and then say bye-bye to you.
2 minutes 47 seconds ahead.
2 minutes ahead, my goodness. Well, I did say it was flat, and I did set quite a modest pace. As I swing around and cross the main road once again, not the main road, but a main road. This is the outskirts of Beja as I safely negotiate the road crossing and head back for my last mile on this cycle path before my turn. I will get in my 12 regardless of pace now because I have a defined destination. I will probably walk some of the uphill on the way home, the last K. Even though I'm ahead of the pace, I know that I had 26 minutes on the recorder. So we'll hear the 5 together. And a little bit more for good measure. Coming up to yet another roundabout that I will have to follow the cycle path to the crosswalk, cross, and then continue. Running towards Evora should be the name of this episode. And then add out and back run towards Evora or Evora. There is an accent on the first E. There's a cyclist. Bon dia. Here they say bomb instead of bon.
3 minutes 12 seconds ahead.
3 minutes ahead. Wow. I'll take a picture here of the sign, seeing as I'm so much ahead. I forgot all about my thousands of fans on the Relive app. This way you'll have a map and pictures.
Switching to XR1. GPS on.
Let me just check that I'm still recording. Sometimes when I put the phone away, I touch the stop button on the screen. It's annoying. It has happened. I think that's what happened yesterday. Yep, I'm on 31 minutes here. Pretty much real time, so that's the length of my podcast so far. So another 5 minutes. Talking of which, I'm eternally grateful to all my regular contributors. Ellen, Steve, Suzanne. I'm just hoping, and myself of course, I'm just hoping that a few newbies join the throng for the last 2 episodes. There's going to be 8, well, 3 actually, 8, 9 and 10. 7 is pretty much in the can already. We're through with 4. I was going to say 3, but I said through with 4 great submissions. Well, 3 good ones and 1 from me, which I'm sort of proud of, but a little confusing to the listener.
2 minutes, 20 seconds left.
It was all about endurance, and I got sort of tangentialized as usual. Not to mention the fact that I was running with Norma and she was constantly correcting my errors. Bless her. That is her job, I guess. I couldn't have done this trip without her. I would have just stayed in one place for the entire month.
Distance 5 kilometers. Workout average pace 6 minutes 45 seconds per kilometer.
I actually have a bit of downhill now. This is quite interesting. I never noticed the downhill on the map. I've noticed that I tend to use the noisy sections when the trucks go by to clear my throat. So 5 6s. What's that? 4 6s are 24. 5 6s are 30. So probably another 4 minutes. I could always pause and have a look, but no, I won't bother. I've set myself an arbitrary spot in the distance for when I'm going to say goodbye to you. And it happens to be some kind of roundabout. Oh, excuse me. That was not my porridge. One disadvantage of staying in a hotel, a 3-star hotel, is the only food they provide is breakfast, a buffet of breakfast. So, as Norma was saying, if we have a big enough breakfast around 10 o'clock, we might not need to eat again until we get to our destination. Because that is what costs money when you're on holiday, having to go out to eat all the time. We're getting close. Pretty soon I'll be off duty on the bike anyway. I still have 6 kilometers to run back. And I'll be looking out for my charming wife. Bless her. So the speed limit here is 60 kilometers an hour with a little sign of children with school bags crossing the road. Getting close. Gonna say goodbye very soon. I promise. Yep, there's a sign up ahead for a school. Alright, so this is it. I'll take a picture of the school sign and head back. Bye-bye.